Welcome back to the British Cycle Speedway finals from Coventry. And as the crowd enjoys the entertainment, the riders are preparing for Heat 11. Graham's sat alongside me, and fair to say no one's got the upper hand at the moment.
No, not really. The track conditions obviously proving a leveller. Here you see three riders wearing the same club jersey, Wensfield, and that's the Wolverhampton-based club. And you see there Lee Ayres taking a tumble whilst challenging his clubmate Adam Peck. Adam loses control. The referee obviously sees that as a racing incident because he calls all four back, although I think Adam Peck might consider himself just a little bit fortunate there. But away they go again, bit of argy-bargy into the first bend, and although they've got the same jersey on, every man racing for himself because it's individual competition and club allegiances mean nothing on a day like this. So three Wensfield riders blasting out in front there with Adam Peck holding on to the defending champion Lee Ayres, who's looking for an opportunity to pass up the inside. Adam Peck, the East Anglian rider, riding in the colours of Wensfield this year, though, looks fairly comfortable on the track with a lap to go. And Lee Ayres, with already a fall and a second place, looks as if his chances of defending his title are disappearing with this race as Adam Peck takes the race win.
So victory for Peck, and we're going to move straight on to heat number 12. Harris, Scranage, Woodhouse and Norman here.
Undoubtedly the crunch race so far today, with two leading contenders, Norman and Woodhouse, on grids 1 and 3 respectively. And at the first attempt here, Sean Woodhouse comes across, and there's a bit of a sandwich with Steve Harris, the victim there, taking a bit of a tumble. You can see the really forceful style of this Southampton youngster. Great attraction for the crowd, but unfortunately that time the referee decided to call them back, and away they go. And this time it's Woodhouse and Harris who get tangled up there. Woodhouse unfortunate because he was leading the race, but just overcooks it there on the bend, and maybe just a little bit fortunate to be re-included in the race, with referee Bob Prince there once again calling that as a racing incident. So 3 times we are starting this race here, and we've got Woodhouse on the outside. Terry Norman uses his experience, decides from gate 4 the only way to do it is to sit wide and drop under the rest of the riders on the first bend. This is exactly what he did, and that's where experience comes in. And he's now out in front from Woodhouse. This is the crunch race of the day. This would make Terry Norman the clear leader on 12 points and 3 wins. It doesn't look as if Woodhouse, even with his dash and flair on the track, is going to catch him. And with half a lap to go, the Stoke rider Terry Norman is about to take the checkered flag in Heat 12. He's firmly in the driving seat for the championship.
That was classic Norman, wasn't it? Worst to first in the blink of an eye. And it means Norman is in command. 3 races, 3 wins. You can't keep a good man down. He's a point clear from Sean Woodhouse, that's Woodhouse Jr., and the surprise package Stephen Ward a point further adrift. Here's Heat 13, Harris, Woodhouse Senior, Wheeler and Galley.
And Steve Harris from gate 1 here, so second consecutive race from the inside. It is his 16th final, incredibly, Steve Harris, and he is going to hold on to the lead this time, I think, because he's determined to take the full 4 points in this race. So you've got to be careful of Gavin Wheeler, and Steve's a wily old fox, rides for the Horsepath Hammers, and he knows how to hold a position in a race, and of course he has been a world champion in his time on the track. And with a lap to go, he's holding on. Wheeler clearly not comfortable in these sort of conditions. If there's a bit of dampness in the track, I'm sure he would have used his superior speed to sweep by. But the dusty conditions there allowing Steve Harris, as you can see, that 4 points mean everything to him. And the crowd here at Coventry captivated by this. First time this event has been to Coventry. As we move on to Heat 14 with Richard Williamson facing quite a powerful race from grid 1. The Wensfield rider here does move straight out into the lead, but Craig Marchant from Leicester sees a gap on the inside and he's through, allowing Terry Norman to do likewise. And as Williamson falls, leaves the other 3 riders. This could mean Terry Norman's first defeat of the day, though, because Craig Marchant out in front Terry then seems to be settling for second with Dave Hemsley on his tail. He'll not want to take too many chances and risk the 3 points he would get for second place if he held on to this. So he's probably adopting a policy of safety first in this race, with 3 wins in the bag, and 3 points from this one would take his total to 15. But Craig Marchant now beginning to move up the score chart himself, with a fine win there in the colours of Leicester in that race.
So Norman loses his 100% record, but he's still in charge of the competition as we move ahead now to heat 15, which features Sean Woodhouse, who's right in contention.
But a difficult starting position from him, gate 4, and nobody's won a race from gate 4 yet, apart from Terry Norman in that classic manoeuvre earlier. Sean Woodhouse this time deciding to go for a blast, but it hasn't paid off, and he's again stuck in traffic on the outside of Mark Newey, and he's trying desperately to find a way around these, but it's difficult when the track's so dusty. There's very little grip there. Sean, however, giving it 100% as he tries to find a gap through, and he's trying an inside pass this time, and well, there is a bit of a gap, but he just takes a tumble there, and that's a disaster for Sean Woodhouse. It could have been a second place at least, but it looks as if with remounting, the referee's deciding not to stop the race, that he's going to finish with just 2 points from third place. Commiserations to Sean Woodhouse there, but you can see there was a bit of a gap. He goes in, but the dusty conditions take their toll. Both riders lose control, and of course that means that Sean is back to third place.
And Terry Norman, of course, one of the main beneficiaries of Woodhouse's ill luck. Here's 16, Dyson, Scranage, Dukes and Peck.
Yeah, and Dyson, of course, he's no youngster. He's been in 5 previous finals, and he's now in the veteran stage, but he certainly knows how to win a race from gate 1 in these sort of conditions. And the Berry rider, using his experience out in front, a lot of traffic, a lot of tactical racing behind him, with 2 Wensfield riders up against 2 Berry riders, so it's Midlands v North, but at the moment advantage to the North as Adam Peck desperately trying to find a way past the young Ben Scranage. He does so, but in the process he allows a gap for his teammate, the reserve Chris Dukes, to come through, and in the end that's a pretty awkward looking tumble for young Ben Scranage, but he'll learn by that. This is his second final, and he's a young man with a great future in the sport. But the race win out in front goes to Paul Dyson.
So Dyson gets 4 points, and Ben Scranage takes a bit of a tumble. Here's how we stand after 16 heats. Norman with a 2-point advantage over Woodhouse Jr. and Marchant, but it still can change. None of these riders can afford any distractions. Just 4 races to go, and we're at heat 17. Dyson, Woodhouse, Williamson and Wheeler.
And a crucial one for Sean Woodhouse, his final race, and nothing less than 4 points here if he's to maintain his challenge, but look for Gavin Wheeler on the outside mounting a big challenge. Sean Woodhouse uses that explosive start that he has, and no sooner he gets out in front than Gavin Wheeler's right there on his tail. These 2 riders have raced with each other at Southampton for many, many years. They know each other's styles. Sean knows that he can't afford to take any chances, because Gavin is looking for 4 points himself to finish on the rostrum, even though his chances of winning the title probably realistically have slipped away. But certainly any chance he sees in this race here, he'll be in there like a flash. He tries to find an inside pass there, but Sean's obviously keeping more than a wary eye out for his club compatriot there, and takes the 4 points. Absolutely vital for him.
Indeed, Woodhouse able to keep the pressure right on Terry Norman with just 3 heats to go. Heat 18 then.
And a big one for Dave Hemsley. Again, a rider who needs a win here in order to finish with any chance of a place on the rostrum. And of course also with his recently announced retirement, this is his last race in a British final, and he's out in front, and this would mean that he finishes this British final on a high note if he can hold on here, with Adam Peck chasing him, colours of Wensfield in second place. But Dave Hemsley, he's not had a race win so far today, and he's going to finish up from the favoured grid 1 as Steve Harris takes a tumble in dusty conditions. Dave Hemsley Out in front, Adam Peck from Wensfield in second place. This would bring Hemsley's total to 15, and he'll have to sweat it out to see what happens in the remaining 2 races to see whether he's got a chance of a place in the top 3.
So Hemsley wins, and we move on to the crucial Heat 19, where Norman needs to come second or better to take the title. Can he do it?
Yes, and he has the relative luxury of that 2-point lead. And often you get this, and therefore he doesn't critically need to win this race just to finish in the top 2. And he soon clears the rider on gate 1, Chris Dukes, moving out into the lead, but takes his eye off Lee Galley there momentarily, and Galley forces his way up the inside. Dukes comes under 2, so this is not good enough for Terry Norman at this stage. Third place would only put him in a runoff for the championship, along with Woodhouse and any other 17-point contenders. So at this stage then, half the race gone. Terry Norman, where he doesn't want to be, back in third place with Lee Galley out in front. Chris Dukes, the Wensfield rider, in second place. It's the last lap now. Terry Norman needs to pull out something special here. He does. He comes through on the very final bend of the race to take second place and sees him 2005 British champion.
Terry Norman with a terrific run after he almost came to a standstill early on in the race. He knew he just needed to come second. There won't be a runoff, and you can see a mixture of exhaustion, relief and utter joy on his face, and he's a very popular rider. There's a real camaraderie in this sport, isn't there, Graham?
There certainly is. These riders, the best of enemies out on the track and the best of friends in the pits and around the social scene that accompanies it. A very popular rider. It's his 9th final, as he said on the intro, and you can see here he actually left it to the very final bend of his final race to take the point, the extra point that he needed. How relieved is he? And how relieved will Craig Marchant be if he can win this race, because it will put him on the rostrum ahead of riders like Dave Hemsley. So Craig Marchant here in Heat 20, the final scheduled race of the day. He's in second place at the moment. He's just behind the young Berry rider Ben Scranage. And Craig Marchant, perhaps one of the unfancied riders, he only really needs to finish second here. He does not critically need to win the race. If he won the race, of course, he would draw level with Sean Woodhouse on 17 points and have a run-off for the silver medal position. But here he seems to be settling safety first behind Ben Scranage and just ahead of Ian Woodhouse. So with the race nearly over, Craig Marchant sitting it out for 3 points, and that completes the rostrum positions. We now know Craig Marchant will be in third place, and Terry Norman, of course, the champion.
And there's confirmation of it. 18 points for Norman, a point clear from Woodhouse.
It's about my 20th attempt in this championship. It's my 9th final, so to finally do it at 35, it's just amazing. It really is a dream come true. I'm so happy. I kept trying to get past Chris, and every time I went to pass him, my back wheel was slipping. I thought, I don't believe this. And then I just got him on the last bend, and it was just sheer relief. It's what I've dreamt about for many years, and now to actually win it. Oh, yes, get in.
Yeah, pleased. I would have liked to have won it. I had one bad race where I fell off. But me and another rider, we just tangled. I come down, and luckily I got a third. So, but yeah, I'm glad Craig come second in his last race. Otherwise, we would have had to have a run-off, and my legs wouldn't have liked that.
There you go, Terry Norman!
So 9th time lucky for Terry Norman, and by the sound of the crowd, a very popular winner he is too. Well done, Terry.